What's up, horror fans? It is Danny from the Lasercast, and this is going to be another one of those hodgepodge episodes where I just kind of throw a bunch of stuff at you, pretending you're the wall and hoping some of that stuff sticks. So if you're here, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. We have so much cool content on this channel. Pete just put up his second interview. Him and I had interviewed Keith Lansdale earlier this year. He got to talk to Keith Lansdale again about his upcoming comic, horror comic that is releasing. So check out that interview. Keith Lansdale and his father, prolific author Joe Lansdale, have both been on our channel. Pete is just a horror author interview machine. So if you are into that, you know, our channel is the right one for you. And we're currently counting down on Shudder the 101 scariest horror movie moments. This past week was episode 3. They counted down from 75 to 63. Now, Pete and I have been, we've been getting those reviews up right away. We had a little bump in the road this week, but we're going to be recording tomorrow morning, episode 3. So if you're following along with Shudder's 101 scariest movie moments, tune in tomorrow. Our review is going to go up. I think we're going to be doing a live review tomorrow morning, so check that out. So like I said, this is going to be a hodgepodge review. I have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. Mainly that 2022 has just been a freaking kick-ass year for horror. I mean, I can't remember a year. I will tell you, I mean, obviously it was pre-pandemic, but 2019 I thought was a fantastic year for horror. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 2022 might even be better. And if you include the television that we have coming soon, the streaming that we have coming up, I'm just super excited. You look in the movie theater now, there's Pearl, the prequel to X, which a few months ago, we were all talking about X as one of the most exciting horror films of the year, the return of Ty West to horror, and the guy snuck not just 1, but 2 horror movies in within a few months. Guy doesn't do a horror movie in 10 years and then just comes back and does 2 of the best horror films of the year. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Pearl, a little bit more about Pearl in a few minutes, but before we get to that, tons of trailers just released for upcoming horror movies and upcoming horror series that are going to be debuting soon. So I just want to talk about a few of those. The first one I want to talk about is Chucky Season 2. I am so excited about Chucky Season 2 because I love Chucky Season 1. I reviewed every episode here on the Lasercast, and the Child's Play series, it's up there with The Evil Dead as my favorite horror franchise. Whereas, you know, Halloween, the Nancy Thompson trilogy in Nightmare on Elm Street, those are more impactful to me. The Evil Dead and the Child's Play franchises, to me, are the highest in quality from beginning to end. And both of those incorporate TV shows that are canon with the rest of the series. Don Mancini has been overseeing Chucky from 1988 all the way to today, and I'm so excited. The trailer for this upcoming season, we see our 3 returning main characters, Jake, Devin, and Lexi. They're being sent to Incarnate Lord, which is a religious-based facility for, they say, juveniles who are violent offenders. So obviously, they're the ones that have taken the blame for Chucky's rampage at the end of Season 1. And I just can't wait. You have so many of the original returning cast members. You have Brad and Fiona Dourif. You have Jennifer Tilly back. There are rumors that Gina Gershon is going to be there because of how many Bound jokes there are throughout the series. Can't wait for that. One of my all-time favorite songs is Losing My Religion by R.E.M. And the trailer for Chucky Season 2 uses a really cool, slowed down version of Losing My Religion. I'm so excited. October 5th on USA and Sci-Fi, Chucky Season 2. And if you want to catch up on Chucky Season 1, come to our, look it up on the Lasercast. I did reviews of every episode in Season 1. Cannot wait for Season 2. It's just so much fun. It was one of the highlights of 2021 for me. The next trailer that I watched, and I'll stick with series for now before we get to the movies, and it's The Midnight Club. Mike Flanagan, who, if you're a fan of our channel, if you watch our videos, you know how much we absolutely adore Mike Flanagan and his work and his Flana family, his returning cast and crew who work on all of his projects. He is adapting Christopher Pike's novel, that YA novel that came out years ago. And you talk about an amazing use of music in a trailer. One of my all-time favorite songs, I just said that with Losing My Religion, but another one of them is Possum Kingdom by the Toadies. And I can't think of a better use of a song when you're dealing with a series that takes place in a hospice. And it's about these young kids in a hospice who meet every night at midnight to effectively tell ghost stories to each other, or as they say it in the trailer, to make ghosts. And they take it a little too far, and we start to see some really scary, typically scary Mike Flanagan stuff. And because the show takes place in a hospice, and because it's Mike Flanagan, you know that you're going to want a box of tissues there, because he is the king of wringing real-life emotion out of really scary horror. He just does it better than anybody. And look no further than Netflix. Midnight Mass was absolutely just mind-bogglingly incredible. My favorite piece of horror from 2021 was Midnight Mass last year. And I've made no qualms. I've made no attempt to hide that the fact that I lost my father last year, and the fact that Midnight Mass talked so openly about death and loss and grief, it just hit me in a different way. And then you take that even further back to The Haunting of Bly Manor and The Haunting of Hill House. And I'm just so excited for this show. I'm actually reading the book on Audible now to get ready for the series. It debuts on Netflix on October 7th. It's 10 episodes. Heather Langenkamp, Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, is in it. And then, of course, because it's Mike Flanagan, he shares directing duty. Axel Caroline, who worked on Haunting of Bly Manor, she is doing a couple of episodes. His longtime cinematographer, Michael Fimagnari, is directing a few episodes. And then just some of the cast members are part of that extended Flana family. In the trailer, you see Samantha Slyon. You see on IMDb, they have listed Zach Gilford, Matt Beidel, Robert Longstreet, Igby Rigney, just to name a few. And I'm sure there's going to be more. You know, I'm sure, Kate Siegel will find her way into the Midnight Club, and I'm super excited about that. Can't wait. And they're also going to be coming to New York Comic-Con the weekend that they debut. And I'm going every day to New York Comic-Con, and I'm going to go out of my way to try to get to that panel. They're doing a panel for the Midnight Club. Mike Flanagan is supposed to be there. I'm super excited. So, yeah, I mean, if you know our channel, the Lasercast, it's named for his work, and that's probably my most anticipated piece of horror coming out. But speaking of anticipated, gotta talk about the Hellraiser trailer that just released. David Bruckner, who has done some of my favorite horror over the past 5 years, and I'm talking about The Ritual, which is still available on Netflix, The Night House, little spoiler for the 101 Shudder's 101 Scariest Movie Moments, Episode 3, a scene from David Bruckner's The Night House. pops up there. He is giving us a new Hellraiser, and I cannot wait for this. I'm such a Hellraiser fan. Parts 1 through 4, I genuinely think are fantastic. Parts 1 and 2 especially, but 3 and 4 are really, really fun, have some great kills, some interesting Cenobites, and then the series just falls off a cliff into direct-to-video garbage territory. So the fact that it's being redone, I cannot wait for this. This trailer makes it look like a combination kind of Hellraisers 1 and 2. Like, there's a lot of scenes that look like the hellscape and the Leviathan of Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. And Jamie Clayton looks amazing as the new Pinhead. And just, if you don't get goosebumps when she says the line, "What is it you pray for?" and then chains fly out, my goodness, I'm so excited. It's also coming out on October 7th on Hulu. So Chucky Season 2 starts on October 5th. The Midnight Club and Hellraiser come out on October 7th on Netflix and Hulu respectively. And then the last trailer I just want to briefly mention is Knock at the Cabin. This is M. Night Shyamalan's latest film. I know that that could be controversial for some people based on your opinion of his work. His last film, Old, I kind of felt was middle to bottom of his filmography. I wasn't the biggest fan. I thought it had its moments, but I will still go to bat that, you know, those first 3 movies, The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs were, you know, the way we look at Jordan Peele for Get Out, Us, and Nope. It wasn't that long ago that we looked at Shyamalan for Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs in that same, you know, Mount Rushmore-esque area. This is based on Paul Tremblay's book, A Cabin at the End of the World, I believe it's called. And I've never read it, but the story looks terrifying. You have a couple and their young daughter who are enjoying this cabin in the woods when all of a sudden these 4 people come out of the woods and effectively take over the cabin and are forcing them to make an obviously horrific choice. What intrigues me most about this is, I gotta be honest, it's Dave Bautista. This is a guy, I'm a wrestling fan, I'm a pro wrestling fan, and this is one of the largest, most intimidating human beings that you can imagine. And he has become such a fantastic actor. From, yes, Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy and the way that he does comedy and action in those movies, but he's become a top-notch actor, and he is so haunting in this trailer. The way he just slowly communicates with this little girl about her parents, and then they have the parents tied up, and he's basically just slowly telling them about this terrible choice that they're going to have to make in order to save the world. It looks very intriguing, and I love the way they use sound. I love the way they use the knocking sounds in the trailer. Very intriguing stuff. That's coming out very soon, and that trailer just released. Also, if you're a Harry Potter fan, Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley, is in that as well. Of course, I didn't mention it, but Halloween Ends is coming out in October as well. That trailer has been out. Every time I go to the movies, I feel like I see the I see the Halloween Ends trailer. I loved Halloween 2018. I didn't love Halloween Kills, so I'm kind of up in the air about Halloween Ends. Bottom line is, the movie starts with the word Halloween. I'm going to be there on opening night, and I'm going to hope for the best. I feel like David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, their Halloween trilogy is batting 500 right now, and I'd really like them to end up going 2 for 3, in my opinion. So we'll see, but It looks good. It looks fun. It's, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis versus Michael Myers, Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers. The trailer's basically set around the two of them fighting essentially for 90 to 100 minutes. I don't think it'll be exactly that, but I'm still excited for it. Okay, this has been a hodgepodge. I've been talking about a whole bunch of horror properties that are coming out on streaming, in theaters. Let me get to a very short little review of Pearl. Pearl is, like I said earlier, it is Ty West's prequel to X that he effectively filmed at the same time as X. They filmed back to back, and basically the movies didn't cost any money to make. They cost like a couple $1 million, which is why the studio was just like, yeah, go ahead, do another one. When I walked out of the theater, my thought process was, I really like this movie, but I kind of think I enjoyed X a little bit more. It's been about 4 or 5 days since I've seen Pearl, and I firmly have changed my mind, and I think Pearl is not just, I would rank Pearl ahead of X. That's nothing against X. I loved X. But I would go so far as to say that Pearl is one of the most unique horror experiences that I can remember. It is one of the greatest performances by an actress in a horror movie. It's one of the most sympathetic portrayals of a serial killer. And it's one of the first times where I've ever sat in a theater and watched a horror movie where I felt like this character is something just completely different to anything I can ever remember seeing. The only way I can describe this is Mia Goth owning this character. She gets a screenwriting credit for this. She co-wrote this script with Ty West. And to me, it almost feels like a Quentin Tarantino, Uma Thurman relationship, the way that Q and U, Quentin and Uma, wrote Kill Bill. And Uma Thurman had so much input into her character. Mia Goth just, I'm just going to say it. She should be nominated for an Oscar. I know. It's a stupid thing to say. It's a horror movie. I get it. She should be nominated for an Oscar. There are moments in this movie where she is talking about the way she feels and how she is as a person and how her, the decisions of other people are affecting her. And it really makes you just empathize and sympathize with somebody who, while you're empathizing and sympathizing, the movie does not shy away from absolutely portraying her to be a monster, to be the villain of this movie. It's not... One of the reasons I didn't love Joker is because I felt like the movie was trying to make... The movie was trying to make the Joker too sympathetic. And even though the Joker was the villain of that movie, you're supposed to walk out almost liking the character and thinking that he's right in the things that he does. It's one of the reasons I hate the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, because the main character, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, is an evil person, but the movie is done in such a way where, oh, the drugs are fun, the sex is fun, the dialogue is fun, and we walk out going, ha, that was a fun movie, and you really should be saying, he's an evil, evil person, and I hated him. I walked out of Pearl going, oh my God, she is so crazy, and she is so evil, but I also understand the character. And to me, in order to do that, it takes a special performance. And Mia Goth just elevates this to another level. This is more of a character study than it is a horror movie. There is a scene at the end of this movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, where you are watching her speak to another character. And you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be a short scene. And it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on. And you become more and more riveted. And you feel genuine emotion for this character, while you're also feeling terrified for the other character. I've never been in that position in a movie. It's gonna catch you off guard. If you haven't seen it, this is not X. This is not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre style slasher movie. Yes, there are gory kills, but this is a deep character study into a deeply insane and emotionally damaged character. And the more I think about it, the more I love it, the more I want to see it again, and the higher up on my list this movie goes. Ty West was one of my favorite horror directors a decade ago when he did movies like House of the Devil, The Sacrament, The Innkeepers. And then he just disappeared. And now he's back, and he's made 2 of my favorite horror films of the year. The man has not skipped a beat. It is amazing. I'm so excited. If you have not seen Pearl, you owe it to yourself as a horror fan. Go see Pearl. If you, I'm just gonna keep up with this hodgepodge. Gonna go on for about 30 more seconds. If you go to the movie, if you have seen Pearl and you go to the movie theater, check out Barbarian. Absolutely bonkers horror movie. Another movie that's up there on my list. I did a full spoiler-filled review of Barbarian, so go see that movie and then watch my spoiler-filled review. There's so much horror out there right now in the theater, coming to the theater, on streaming, coming to streaming. 2022 is absolutely killing it. I'm so excited for this upcoming month. And I'm excited for tomorrow because Pete and I are going to be reviewing 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments on Shudder, Episode 3. Pete's all-time favorite horror movies, one of my all-time favorite horror movies, is on that list. I think it's too high on the list. I think it should be much lower, closer to the number 1. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. So this has been Danny from the Lacercast. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We have tons of great stuff on here all the time, and so much more is coming as we go on through spooky season. I'll see you soon.